So I had some time, so I figured I'll just record instead of taking notes. This was probably going to be easier to see anyway. Anyway, let's just start.
Yeah,
One.
no. Clearly, evolution is not distributed equally.
That's an okay damage orb.
A welcome improvement.
I say okay because you threw it at an angle, so it might bounce away. Usually I try and throw them more parallel. Although you are at high ground, so I suppose it doesn't really matter.
I offer something more. Shinish.
I don't know if you need the heal orb. I mean, actually, yeah, never mind. That's okay.
Shinish.
Yeah, because you're crossing that gap. You didn't really end up taking too much damage, but it's a decent orb usage because normally you would take damage there. Maybe going for maybe a little. Oh, whoops. A little more right click.
Your end is within my reach.
Did I have to just skip? Okay, right clicking shield.
Your end is within my reach.
I don't know where your Zarya is going. So you could have faded that, but I really don't understand your Zarya's positioning here. Yeah, you should. I mean, that's really your Zarya's fault, if I'm being honest. You could have survived, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway, because your Zarya is just off on herself, by herself doing nothing. So I'm going to keep an eye on your Zarya, just because...
Your fate is in my
I mean, we'll see. That was not great.
Engage those hostiles.
A taste of poison.
That's unfortunate.
You need only ask for my help.
Doesn't mean it's losable though. If your Zarya... Okay, now it's losable.
Cure for all the veils.
None of this so far is on you, I would say.
Moragwitch.
Okay, here goes Ryan.
Repairing your cellular makeup.
Good damage orb. It's also nice to see you take some fire there, so your team can push up a little bit. But they're not really... Your Ryan's barrier's already down. What is it? This is difficult. Nice dodge on that. Yeah. My only thought is maybe you could have, like, you got your coalescence off your Ryan and then used ult to save him, but they had Sojourner ult, so that would have been really risky. Might be just best to reset anyway.
Team kill.
Good to see you.
Yeah, the consequence of
To start anew.
feeding for 2 fights and then the enemy team has their ultimates.
I must return to my post. Surrender to my
I like
will.
this because you know they've already used Shatter, so you don't have to worry about getting shattered. Could have been a little more aggressive though. Let's talk about this. Because it's clear that you have to pull something out of nowhere to get this fight started.
Surrender to my
So-
will.
I would have ulted a little more on the right side. You want to really, the moment you use ult, you want to have every enemy lined up for a while. In this situation, they can just back around this corner here, and then you're not going to be able to see them. So rather than having this angle where I'm drawing my mouse, you want to have this angle here. It's slightly more risky because they're one-shot, like their snipers can headshot you more easily on low ground, but it's going to get more value as an ultimate because then it's going to put pressure on their supports. Their Kiriko's hanging up here, so maybe not, but in general, yeah, I would much rather take this angle here and just incorporate really good strafing so you can avoid those headshots. Because you see, they'll back around this corner, and then your ult's going to be doing nothing here. So, yeah, I guess the key thing with Coalescence is you really want, the moment you pop it, for it to be getting a ton of value. You don't want to use it early and then have to chase the enemy. Because if that happens, they're probably going to get away.
Not on my watch.
Take them by surprise.
My ultimate is ready. Heroes never die.
A taste of poison.
Okay, you're back on Zarya. You could have faded that. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say.
Come on.
Hey, it's Kiriko.
Would it have mattered? I don't know. I don't even know. Your team just is dying all over the place anyway.
You cannot escape me.
It's always nice to stay alive though.
You will be renewed. In 60 seconds.
You could have faded that as well. Okay, I've seen 3 instances now where you could have faded incoming damage, but you ended up dying to it. So just keep note of that. It could be because you're playing in kind of an open space there.
You will be renewed. In 60 seconds.
Yeah, that was not a great play. I mean, not a play. It's just that positioning is super dangerous.
I've dealt with cynics before.
Maybe you figured because your Zarya was a little close to you that she would take more of the fire there. But it just be hyper aware. If you're gonna peek angles like that, you have to be really aware of where the damage is coming from. Okay, something about dodging shatters with Fade, because you did have Fade there to dodge shatter, but it's kind of a hard thing to react to if you're not paying attention to it. You need to really keep track of the stuns and ultimates that are most dangerous to you, which is like Grav, Shatter, anything that can stun you really, Gravitic Flux. Like against their team, they have Rhine. Yeah, the only ultimate that's really going to mess you up is Shatter on their team. So you don't even have to worry about their other ultimates, to be honest. Just make sure you're tracking their Earth Shatter. And if you know that their Rhine has it, it's a lot easier to react to and use Fade to get away.
Tactical visor activated.
Wasted enough time. Move. This ends now.
You're broken. May I?
Okay.
Cure for all the tales.
I mean, that Fade was a good example of it. You realizing you're taking damage and you did fade out in time. Your team is so desperate. Okay. Yeah, this is acceptable. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Kill the Kiriko. Kill the Rhine. Kill the Rhine. Kill the Rhine.
Big starlight. The point is vulnerable. Let us take
Watch
it.
your backside.
You should have been way more aware of that Hanzo. Like, I think that you knew he was there, but you didn't really play like you knew he was there. Like, I'm sure you knew he was there, but like you got shot once. Let's see here. Yeah, pretty decent coalescence.
Big starlight.
Focus down the Rhine. You get shot right here by Hanzo. You're healing that guy. You go around to suck the Hanzo. Wait, sorry. You got your Kiriko helped you out here for a second.
Big starlight. The point is vulnerable. Let us take
You get shot, you get cleansed, and then you get headshot. So yeah, you could have faded away from there. Typically, you said this is probably like master rating. You cannot test Hanzo for that long unless you have really good dodging, and you weren't really using very much dodging there. So either employ a ton of dodging or just get out of there, because you're not going to survive like 3 shots from him like you tried to do here.
Death spiral.
Yeah, that could either be solved through using Fade or just better strafing and crouching,
Check.
I would say.
Affirmative.
I'm here.
Hello. Your end is within my reach.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
You could have tossed the damage over a little earlier.
My ultimate is ready.
And I'll point out a spot where you can toss it. That's pretty
Healer is
good.
in our care.
Okay.
A taste
Yeah,
of
you got it.
poison. Preparing your cellular makeup.
Good use of healing resources. Yeah, I really like that spot to throw damage orb. Like right on this middle window here, because it goes right into their team if you're facing them straight forward.
You cannot escape.
This is really risky. Okay. I saw a big problem there. Look at your movement here. That's what I want you to focus on.
You cannot escape me.
You walked in a straight line in front of their Hanzo for a good second without even crouching once. So I'm seeing an issue here with just general movement. Yeah, you cannot walk in a straight line like that in front of a Hanzo. I'm very surprised you didn't end up dying there. So this is more of a positioning issue. You really want to play around corners more. You're just standing in the open like this. You do have your fade, but you're also against a one-shot potential, so you just can't really do that unless you're dodging way more than this. So just get down to AD strafing and also using crouch. I'm going to pay attention to that. I don't think I've seen you use crouch at all.
For the punch. The payload leads towards our desired outcome.
There are no sides out here. My ultimate is
Activating self-destruct sequence.
Okay, you have your ultimate.
Is within
I mean,
my
almost.
reach.
This is a little risky, using fade forward like that.
Slipping away.
But your team's already doing pretty well, so it's okay.
I am ready to unleash coalescence. My ultimate is ready to be unleashed.
I draw the hermit. You've got some soul
I
searching
am ready
to do.
to unleash coalescence.
Okay, remember that they have shatter,
Let's kick this off.
because they haven't... Yeah.
Surrender to my will. This ends now.
You're walking in straight lines. Okay, you strafed a little bit there, but you saw when you were trying to avoid the first part of that Sojourn ult, you were walking in a straight line.
Surrender to my will. This ends
Right here.
now.
Yeah.
60 seconds.
The moment you heard that Sojourn ult, you should have started moving back and forth, but you kept on going in the same direction. Here you start to do some better strafing when you're facing the Sojourn, so that's good. But that initial movement, you could have easily died.
The payload moves with certainty.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
My ultimate ability is charging.
I see what you're doing. I like that, yeah.
Misery made.
It's kind of funny that's the only way you can get up there, except that the payload moves close enough, but...
Disrupting.
This is good positioning, but you're not really using it that much. I mean, they know you're up here, so you're already creating space, but you could be doing some more right click.
Gabriel.
The Kitsune is ready to be
This is
unleashed.
good, this is good. You should toss the damage orb at the Kiriko instead of the Reaper. I don't really know how much you can be learned from that, but
What is it now?
yeah. Just generally, that damage orb could have been a little more useful.
The Kitsune is ready to be unleashed.
Yeah, like,
I'm ready
the
to
Reapers,
unleash
you know the Reaper's already getting out, but their Kiriko, she's much closer to you, so I would have definitely used it on the Kiriko.
What is it now? Big
Yeah, I like this
Starlight.
positioning.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
Yeah,
Activating self-destruct sequence.
I'll make a mention of that positioning. Like, even though you're literally standing right in front of the enemy, it's pretty safe where you are right now. Which is an odd thing to say because their entire enemy team is right there. But like, they're all gonna walk right past you because they are... I don't know how to explain it, but this positioning is actually fairly safe. So yeah, I'm not going to really comment on this being dangerous because you have your Fade. They're all running past you to go attack your team. Okay, use Fade back here. This is a little dangerous to use Fade here because now that the enemy knows you're down to your Fade, they might turn around and focus you. Okay, your Reaper comes up big. This is really nice that you're able to take some focus away from your team. Wait, that was their Reaper, my bad.
60 seconds remaining.
Yeah, there wasn't really much you could do there. The Reaper killed like 2 or 3, so you know, even a coalescence wouldn't help with that.
For all the tales.
Okay, your team got a pick. You should be going in very quick here, hopefully.
Misery made
Good damage orb. Maybe a little bit high. Because they don't have a diva to eat it, so you can just throw it directly into them. Again, not keeping track of shatter here. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. But you should really try and be dodging these shatters with Fade. It's not easy, but once you get good at it, it's pretty consistent. Like for me, I do it based off reaction time when I hear the sound cue, but not everyone can do that. I have pretty fast reaction time, but what makes reaction time faster is if you're predicting something's going to happen. So if you know he has shatter, your reaction time will actually be faster to him using it than if you weren't thinking about that.
Surrender to my will.
Tactical visor activated.
You could have pushed up there and focused down the target, but I don't think it's going to matter anyway.
This ends now.
Yeek. Well, I mean, I'm not going to harp too much on this because, like, my question is, why didn't their Sojourn use ult before then? Oh, she probably didn't have it. She gets ult. Yeah. Their Sojourn got her ultimate literally the second you decide to fade over there. So, I don't know. I can't really fault you for this. You would have probably ended up killing her if she didn't use her ultimate.
10 seconds remaining. Cooling down. Overtime. Bothersome.
Yeah, some things like that, like you're gonna go for risky plays. You kind of have to as Moira, and sometimes this just doesn't work out. Good target focus there on the squishy target instead of tanks. I see a lot of people just focus tanks for no reason as Moira, and you're not gonna do anything with that. So yeah. Not bad.
0-2. Switching sides. Ready for battle.
This is an okay spot for an orb.
4, 3, 2.
You cannot escape me.
Attackers incoming.
Nice. That was really well timed.
Objective A.
Get ready.
The barrier is gone.
That's much better.
Okay, you help your Reaper.
Misery made
I don't know about that damage orb. I would have just thrown that damage orb directly into them instead of behind them. Because they were moving forward, so that orb is probably not going to do much.
Such grievous
Anyway,
wounds.
they're rotating, so you're just going to stick with your Sigma. You could have faded that. Yeah, you had plenty of time to fade that, I would say. It's a little unexpected he's going to charge there, but you got to be ready for stuff like that. Or if you're having trouble just fading abilities like that, what you can do, compensate is play farther back. Like play a little more behind your Sigma, so that you can react
Your strength
a little bit
belongs
later.
mine. A taste of poison. Reforming you.
Press the attack. Press the attack. Press the attack.
Okay, where's your tank? Where is your tank? Nice, nice. You can push up a little bit. I'm not entirely sure what to say here. I mean, it's risky to push up, but like, you don't really have your tank with you. This corner is kind of difficult because once you push past the doorway, you are very vulnerable, and you can contest this cart from a little bit away from it. I would say once you saw your Reaper back out, that's probably when you should have backed out. Yeah, I'll also like to say that. So you don't want to be the primary person taking damage for your team. Having your Reaper here means that this Reaper's not going to be focusing you. Maybe the people to the left are, but it's not going to be their whole team. The moment you see your Reaper back out, you probably should have faded away, because you're not going to be doing anything for your team up here with your 50 DPS. So just try and keep a teammate between you and the enemy, unless you're taking a 1v1, in which case you can probably deal with them by yourself. But yeah, you want to try and keep
Hello there.
your teammates between you and the enemy.
Hello.
Okay, there's Sojourn's doing Sojourn things.
What is it now?
Nice fade. Nice fade. And Sojourn is a character in this video game. Yes. That is a thing.
Moragwitch.
My ultimate is ready.
One hand gives, the other takes away.
I am ready to unleash coalescence.
Okay, just waiting for your team to catch up. You have your ult here. Okay, there's Sojourn. I like this. This is good. Their Sojourn maybe can die. No, their Kiriko's gonna pocket her. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna attribute some of those kills to you, because you distracted them. It distracted at least 2 or 3 people there with your ultimate, which allows your diva to like just bomb down middle, and they've already used some abilities. Like their Sojourn couldn't escape that because she'd already used her slide from your ult. So like, you know, not a bad ult.
A sip for the parched,
I've got meds.
enhancing your vitals.
Okay, you could have faded. You could have faded that. I hope your Reaper can do this. I think he can. Yeah, you could have faded away from that before you
Press the
died.
attack. Press the attack. Press the attack.
I really
Press the
think your
attack.
Reaper should have killed this Rhine by now. Okay. Okay.
I offer something more.
Yeah, so not too much to worry about here because your Reaper popped off, but you could have survived that.
Repairing your cellular makeup.
But I guess I'll say again, good healing resources using, like, your healing is good. I don't see any issue with that. I don't see much issue with your DPS. Maybe it's a little more aggressive during your ultimates, but
Hold it.
This ends now.
that movement was a little sloppy. That's fine. Happens.
A cure for all the days. Careful, we're outnumbered.
Okay, your team just split up completely. Let's see this.
This
Okay, what happened here? Okay, you're over here. You're behind them. Taking some damage. Go back to your team. Your diva flies away, leaving you there.
taste of poison.
So you have to use Fade again to just get out. Your diva is over there again.
Hold it.
This ends now.
Not the best Fade, but yeah, I don't know what your diva was doing there.
Cure for all the days. Careful, we're outnumbered. Back to basics.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think you could have done much.
Team kill.
Maybe play a little more defensively, but
Payload has reached the
your
checkpoint.
diva just kind of fed a lot.
Big stanger lap.
And this is really rough against their Sojourn, and you guys not having a Sojourn. You have a soldier. Yikes. Okay, you didn't have Fade there. Let me see if you actually... Yeah, here's another instance where you should be aware that they have another Shatter available. They haven't used Shatter for a while. You should be looking for that ultimate. Let's see. Okay, you have Fade here. The Rhine charges forward. Use Fade away to get it out. Oh. That's okay. Well, that's acceptable. But I also want to look at where your diva was, because that's important. Okay, your diva's up there.
Big stanger lap.
Where is she? Your diva's playing behind you. She should be... I don't like your diva. I don't like your diva at all. Okay. I have a big issue with your diva player. Like, she's playing high ground when they're pushing cart. You need to be holding this corner. Like, your diva should be on this corner so hard right now, and she's just not. You probably wouldn't have had to use Fade from that Rhine pin if your diva was playing forward, if I'm being honest. And now she finally realizes she needs to be helping, and it's too late.
You cannot escape me.
Hopefully you can kill this Sojourn. Ah, she was so low. Yeah, I don't know what your diva's doing.
Taste of poison.
Almost got Lucy there. Okay, you have ultimate. And they don't have a Shatter. So hopefully...
Surrender to my will. Your assistance is appreciated.
I almost kind of wish your soldier didn't ult there. Because... I don't know if they would have used beat if he didn't ult. Oh well, I mean, that's not something you can control. You missed the damage orb with your coalescence. Well, I understand, because that was a really rough situation. You're not going to hit every single ability. Yeah, and once they beat, your coalescence is essentially useless, so you can just try and get out.
Double, triple kill. Quadruple kill.
I don't even know. I don't know what to say.
Press the attack. Press the attack. Press the attack.
Your Reaper just kind of
Misery
carried.
made manifest.
Yeah, you could go a little aggressive here. I would definitely push up, because somebody got slept on your team. Okay, now you're okay.
Your end is within my reach.
Yeah, this is decent. I'm surprised they're not pushing any farther. Like, what are why are they... Oh, he's swapping to Diva. Okay.
This ends now.
I would have faded out earlier, and not that direction. Yeah.
Be nourished.
So you had a chance to fade back to your team, but you waited too long, and then you got kind of caught out. So now you're behind them, which is not really that great. We'll see where this goes. You should have faded out much earlier than that. I'd say the moment you heard their Sojourn. Yeah, I feel like you should have been punished for that, but you weren't. So... yeah, I don't know.
You cannot escape me. Lending a hand. Receive my aid.
This is very dangerous positioning against a Sojourn who might have one shot right now. You're standing in the middle of, like, in the open, trying to heal your Diva without even looking at their Sojourn, so she could so easily one-shot you right here.
I require assistance.
Yeah, you honestly should have died there. if their Sojourn was better.
You're broken.
60 seconds.
This is a really good time to use your ultimate.
Unassailable prowess.
Yeah, you could just kill their diva. Yeah, if you used your ult sooner, you could have killed their diva.
Thank you.
Again, you use your ultimate when their team is already around a corner, so when you pop it, they're going to back up immediately, rather than if you used it when you already had sightlines on them, so that when they were backing up, they were still being hit by it. That makes sense. Like, you don't want to pop it around the corner and then move to where the enemies are. You want to pop it when you're already around the corner, so that they can't back up soon enough to not take damage. Let me replay this so you can really see this.
Surrender to my
Like, you're standing kind of far away, at least from their supports. It's like you're not going to do much if their supports are keeping everyone up. You want to be hitting the supports as well. Despite the fact they have a Reaper there, you want to be taking this angle where you can see down that corridor. Yeah.
Thank you.
I will say the Reaper is a little bit scary, so I might understand you not wanting to push forward, but if you don't push forward, you're not going to get very much value with your ultimate.
Big stanger left.
Also, you should have ulted sooner just in general, and you would have had more value there.
Not so fast.
Let me just point out where I would have ulted.
surrender.
Receive my aid.
Okay, where do you... Let's just go back.
You cannot escape me.
Okay, you have your ult here.
Lending a hand.
Right here.
Receive my aid.
I say right here because I saw their Kiriko move up. Watch their Kiriko. He's out on the bottom here.
Lending a hand. Receive my aid.
Right.
I require assistance.
Okay, their Sojourn's there. He shoots you. He dies. Right now. Because you can see... Okay, these perspectives are kind of hard to... Their Ana is pushed up. Their Kiriko is pushed up. Their Kiriko has no one to go to if you start ulting right now. Like, no one to use her Fade to that's going to be in a safe position. The Reaper is also a little bit pushed up, but if you use your ultimate, the Reaper is going to have to back out. Like, you're going to have too much pressure unless he one-shots you, but that's really unlikely. So yeah, you see both their healers are pushed up. That's when you need to go. This is, yeah, even more. The Ana pushes up even more, and you still don't ult right there.
Unassailable prowess.
And now, their healers are pushed back, and that's when you decide to ult.
Thank you.
So they're able to get out much more easily.
Big stanger
And you don't get a ton of value from that ultimate.
Not so fast.
I don't like that fade.
Repairing your cellular makeup.
Not that you shouldn't have faded there, but it's just... It's a risky fade because they're pushing forward and you don't really fade behind them. You kind of fade to the side of them, so if they wanted to, they could have easily punished you right there. But I guess they just don't.
I've got meds. Who needs them?
Yeah, if their team wasn't so tunnel visioned, you should have died there.
Misery made manifest.
Well, you certainly could have faded away from that. I think that's like the third or fourth time I've seen you get charged by Orion. That really should not be happening.
This ends now.
Especially if you have your fade available.
Bothersome. A cure.
Okay. So in general, I guess I can do a summary. Healing is fine. Your healing's good. I don't see any issue with that. Your damage is also pretty decent. Maybe a little more right click here and then, but honestly, nothing to worry about. Fade usage. This is kind of an issue. You need to be a lot quicker with your fade usage on a ton of abilities I've been seeing, especially like Rhine Shatter, Rhine Pin, just taking damage in general. I've seen you were a little slow to react sometimes, anticipating important ultimates that you're going to have to use fade for, I would say. Coalescence usage, generally ulting in places where the enemy is not going to have as many chances to escape as you give them. Because typically, I've seen you ult primarily as like a first you start. No, never mind. I was saying healing, but that's not true. You just ult either too soon or too late. Like you need to be in a position where the enemy cannot really escape the ultimate once you start pushing forward. And I've seen multiple times where the enemy does escape when they didn't need to be able to escape there. Like you could have been more aggressive. Yeah, just keep in mind that when you use your ultimate, the enemy team is likely going to back out. So you need to put them in a situation where they can't back out. Orb usage is good. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. Positioning, you need to position way more safely and around corners, because I've seen a lot of times where you're just kind of out in the open against a lot of enemies, in which case you died a lot or should have died a lot. So just positioning wise, play a little safer around corners more. Game sense is okay. I mean, you seem to be at the right rank for your game sense. Game sense is not super easy to improve on or teach. It's kind of something you just learn as you start playing better. So I don't really have much to say about that. Mechanics, your mechanics are decent. I will say if you play more aggressive and as you rank up, hopefully you'll start learning how to be a little more mechanically accurate. Like sometimes I saw with your ultimate, you'd miss a little bit, just like getting better at tracking, having slightly higher APM. This will hopefully come as you start ranking up. And I think that's about it. Yeah, hope this helped.